If you're someone who's thinking about becoming Catholic and you've already gotten over the misconceptions like Catholics worship Mary or they worship the Pope, there's still one huge thing that's kind of hard to wrap your head around: the real presence in the Eucharist, that the wine and bread actually become the blood and the body of Jesus Christ. It's one of those mysteries that's so hard to grasp because our minds just can't comprehend it. I remember thinking, how can that possibly be true? But there were 5 things that really helped me believe in the real presence of the Eucharist. The first thing that changed everything for me was realizing that Jesus really meant what he said. He was not speaking symbolically when he said, "This is my body, this is my blood." Now we can look to the scriptures for this. In Matthew 26 through 28, he specifically says, "Take and eat, this is my body." And in John 6:51 through 56, he says, "My flesh is true food, and my blood is true drink." We need to note that when Jesus said this, people left. They walked away because, quite frankly, this teaching was very hard. Jesus didn't say, "Wait, no, I was just speaking symbolically." No, he let them leave because he was being quite literal. That's when I realized, if it were symbolic, then why wouldn't he have clarified at the time that that happened rather than just let people walk off? But he didn't. He literally just doubled down and just kept emphasizing that no, you need to eat my flesh and drink my blood to have everlasting life. So this wasn't something that he tried to explain so that people could understand. I think this just sounds kind of crazy. But now I can see that's probably exactly how his disciples felt as well. This is just one of those things that was like an aha moment to me, because this is a very debatable topic, whether this was symbolic or literal. But that one point just really stood out to me: the Eucharistic miracles. And these have been scientifically documented. Yes, scientifically. Here's just a couple of examples. In Lanciano, Italy in the 8th century, a priest doubted the real presence, and during the Mass, the host visibly turned into human flesh, and the wine turned into blood. Modern testing showed that the tissue is human heart muscle with type AB blood, the same blood type found in the Shroud of Turin. Another example is in Buenos Aires in 1996. The same exact findings. Heart tissue from a person under severe stress or trauma. Again, type AB. Even more powerful. The testing was overseen by scientists who didn't know it came from a consecrated host. Okay, well, you have to admit, that's pretty amazing. And that's just a couple. There are several more. If you look into this, you'll be shocked. It's really like God gives us these miracles to help strengthen our faith. It's how the early Christians practiced their faith. And these are the ones that were the closest to the apostles, and they all believed in the real presence. Here's some historical quotes. One from St. Ignatius of Antioch in 107 AD. He says, "They abstain from the Eucharist because they do not confess that the Eucharist is the flesh of our Savior, Jesus Christ." So right there you can see that in the 1st century, they're being very specific that the Eucharist is in fact the flesh. They're not trying to clear up any misconceptions and say, well, actually it was just symbolic. No, they just said that. Another one is Saint Justin Martyr in 155 AD. He says, "We do not receive these things as common bread or common drink, but as Jesus Christ our Savior made flesh." That's a pretty bold statement. Again, we're seeing that the early church fathers here were very persistent on making it clear that the Eucharist was not symbolic, that this was in fact Jesus's blood and body. Now, these were men that were taught directly by the apostles or some of their disciples. So it's really not something you could say, well, that was centuries later, they probably misunderstood what they were talking about. No, I don't think so. That historical continuity really stuck with me. The church never once taught that it was symbolic until the Reformation. The 4th thing that really helped me was how the Eucharist fulfills the story of salvation from the Old Testament until now. Let's look at some biblical parallels. So we have the Passover lamb in Exodus 12. The Israelites had to eat the lamb to be saved, not just believe in it. So Jesus is the new Passover lamb, as discussed in 1 Corinthians 5:7. Another example is the manna in the desert. It's talked about in Exodus 16, John 6:49 through 51. Jesus said, "Your ancestors ate the manna in the wilderness and died, but whoever eats this bread will live forever." Another one is Melchizedek's offering in Genesis 14:18. The mysterious priest offers bread and wine, a foreshadowing of the Eucharist. The entire Bible actually points the Eucharist to a new covenant meal. And finally, the fifth thing was a lot more personal. The first time I went to Adoration, I didn't even know what to do. I just sat there quietly. And for the first time, I felt this overwhelming calm come over me. I didn't even know what adoration was until I started going to Mass and I saw that our parish had a little adoration room. And I asked, "What is this?" And so they said, "Oh, this is the Eucharist. You can go there and pray." And when I did that, I was just shocked because it was just so peaceful. It definitely signified that there was something special about this. And this really reminded me of a Bible verse, Luke 24:30 through 31. When Jesus broke the bread, their eyes were opened and they recognized him. Your eyes are finally open. So those are 5 things that helped me believe in the real present. If you're on your own journey towards the Catholic Church, keep searching, keep seeking, because once you understand the truth, nothing about faith ever feels the same again. Have you experienced something that made you believe in the Eucharist? Please tell me down in the comments. These are always so encouraging to read, to find out what other people go through when they are becoming Catholic. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.